A company called Nvidia is winning the AI wars, and most people have never heard of it. This company has created a technology that is powering all of the AI tools that you've ever been hearing about. ChatGPT, Google Bard, image generators like Midjourney, and even the self-driving cars that are roaming the streets of San Francisco. In fact, many experts believe that this company is so crucial to the future of AI that without them, we would be years, if not decades, behind where we are today. So who exactly is this mysterious company, and why should you care? This is the story of Nvidia, the company that powered AI. Taking a look back, the story of Nvidia dates back to 1994 when two brothers named Jensen Huang and his older brother Dennis immigrated from China to the U.S. with the goal of becoming the next big thing in the tech industry. At first, Jensen worked as a taxi driver, while his brother Dennis worked at a video game company. But both eventually left their jobs to establish a company of their own. Joining forces with a friend from college named Curtis Prime, the trio spent the next few years developing a way for PCs to better render 3D graphics. And in 1995, they officially launched Nvidia. The name Nvidia was actually just a combination of the words video and graphic. For the first couple of years, Nvidia tried to make money by selling chips that allowed PC gamers to play games in 3D. But this proved to be quite challenging given that these chips were super expensive and no one could afford them. So in 1999, Nvidia decided to take a different approach. Instead of trying to sell chips directly to consumers, they would simply license their tech to other companies, allowing those companies to build their own 3D graphics chips using Nvidia's technology. This proved to be much more successful as it lowered the barrier to entry for smaller companies, and Nvidia became the go-to choice for any company looking to build a 3D graphics chip. Basically, Nvidia came up with the blueprint for how to make a 3D graphics chip, and all of the other companies simply followed their lead. Nvidia's rise to dominance in the GPU market was nothing short of spectacular. But all of this would have remained a pipe dream if it wasn't for the rise of one GPU in particular. You see, GPUs, or graphics processing unit, are a type of microchip that is designed to quickly render images for output to a display. They're what makes modern-day video games possible. But as time went on, people started to realize that GPUs are capable of doing so much more than just rendering images. GPUs have an insane amount of processing power and memory bandwidth, which made them ideal for tasks like machine learning and data processing. This led to the rise of the application-specific integrated circuit, or ASIC, which is essentially a GPU that's customized to do only one thing. For example, Bitcoin miners will buy custom-made GPUs specifically designed to run the SHA-256 hashing algorithm, which is the algo used by most blockchains to validate transactions and add blocks to the blockchain. But among all the different ASICs out there, none have been as profitable as the one developed by one guy named Yann LeCoq. Yann was a French computer scientist who had always been interested in the capabilities of artificial intelligence. After getting his PhD from the University of Paris, Yann joined a company called Itzia, whose goal was to create an AI that can beat humans at their own games. While working at Itzia, Yann developed an ASIC called the C1, which was specifically designed to train deep neural networks. Deep neural networks, or DNNs, are basically complex algorithms that allow computers to learn from data. The way that DNNs work is quite complicated, but at a high level, they consist of multiple layers of nodes, each of which performs a certain function. By adjusting the weights of these nodes, the computer can learn to perform a specific task, such as classifying images or predicting stock prices. Training a deep neural network takes an absurd amount of computing power, and that's exactly what Yann SC1 was built for. The C1 was a perfect tool for training DNNs, and soon Yann found himself at the center of the AI revolution. As the demand for AIs grew, so did the demand for the C1, and soon Yan found himself at the center of the AI revolution. Realizing the potential of AI, he decided to reach out to Nvidia and offer to sell them the rights to his C1 architecture. At first, Nvidia rejected the offer, believing that AI was not going to be a big deal. But eventually, they changed their mind and bought out C1. With this new acquisition, Nvidia now had the technology to customize GPUs for AI applications, but they needed someone to run their AI department, and that's where Jensen Huang comes in. Jensen was one of the co-founders of Nvidia, and he had a vision of building an end-to-end AI platform. This meant that Nvidia didn't just want to sell GPUs for AI applications. They wanted to become the go-to provider of AI infrastructure. And under Jensen's leadership, that's exactly what they did. With Jensen leading the charge, Nvidia quickly assembled a team of the best AI researchers in the world, including Yan LeCun. Together, they focused on developing the best AI hardware and software in the world, constantly iterating and pushing the boundaries of what was possible. Their hard work quickly paid off, as Nvidia became the dominant player in the AI GPU market. In fact, Nvidia now controls about 80% of the AI training market and 95% of the AI. Basically, if you want to use AI, you're going to need some sort of Nvidia product. But despite Nvidia's incredible success with AI, they've faced their fair share of criticism. One of the biggest criticisms of Nvidia is that they don't actually build their own AI chips. Instead, they simply take regular GPUs and repurpose them for AI applications. This has led some people to question whether or not Nvidia is a real AI company, or if they read just a regular tech company that jumped onto the AI band. Additionally, Nvidia has faced criticism for the environmental impact of their products. Training AI models requires a massive amount of computing power, which in turn requires a lot of energy. Some estimates suggest that training a single large language model can consume as much energy as a small city does in a year. This has raised concerns about the sustainability of AI and whether or not Nvidia is doing enough to address the issue. Furthermore, Nvidia has also faced criticism for the lack of diversity in their workforce. According to their website, only 3% of their employees are black and 6% are Hispanic. This lack of diversity has led to accusations of cultural insensitivity and a lack of understanding of the needs of underrepresented communities. All of this is not to say that Nvidia hasn't done anything to address these issues. In fact, they've taken several steps to promote diversity and sustainability. For example, they've launched a number of initiatives to increase the number of women and minorities in their workforce. And they've also set goals to reduce their carbon footprint. But these efforts have not been enough to satisfy some critics who continue to call for more action. Despite these criticisms, though, Nvidia remains one of the most valuable tech companies in the world with a market cap of over $1 trillion, and they show no signs of slowing down anytime soon. In fact, the future looks brighter than ever for Nvidia, as they've recently announced their new GPU called the H100. The H100 is the latest addition to Nvidia's family of AI superchips, and it promises to be the most powerful AI training tool yet. It's got 4 times the performance of the previous generation, and it's already being put to work by some of the biggest names in tech. For example, Microsoft is using the H100 to train the next generation of ChatGPT, and Google is using it to improve their search engine. Even startups are getting in on the action, with companies like Weights and Biases using the H100 to develop new AI models. Basically, the H100 is just another example of how Nvidia continues to push the boundaries of what's possible with AI, and it's clear that the company is not slowing down anytime soon. Looking ahead, it'll be interesting to see how Nvidia continues to shape the future of AI. One thing is for sure, though, the company is well positioned to remain a leader in the space for years to come. Personally, I'm extremely bullish on AI, and I think that it's one of the greatest opportunities of our lifetime. And while I think that Nvidia is a great company, I don't think that it's worth investing in right now given its sky-high valuation. However, there are plenty of other ways to invest in AI. For example, There are a number of AI ETFs out there that give you exposure to a basket of AI companies. Alternatively, you could also look into investing in some of the other major players in the AI space like AMD or Intel. There are also a number of AI startups out there that are looking for investors, although due to their early stage, these are much riskier. Do you guys have any other companies that you think we should cover in the future? Comment them down below. Also, drop a like if you read bullish on AI. And of course, consider joining our community to suggest future video ideas and consider subscribing to see more questions logically answered. But until then, I'll see you guys on the next one.